right, guys, I want you to take out your notes that you have from yesterday because we're going to continue on with this lesson. But first, I want to start off with a think tank. Remember this video that we watched yesterday? Well, we're going to watch it again, but this time I want you to focus on the phases mentioned in the video. Make sure you're taking your notes. Alright, so we're going to continue on with the menstrual cycle. I know yesterday we were focused a lot on hormones, but the hormones have a lot to do with this cycle. But first, I want to go over, again, why do we study physiology? Hand. Alright, that is the correct answer. So it's to help to understand how our bodies work or function, to help us inform our health decisions, to know what questions to ask, whether it be our parents, doctor's office, nurse's office, and then to understand what medical professionals such as doctors, nurses, physical therapists tell us about our bodies. All of this is to help increase our comprehension of health and physiology, so what's really happening within our bodies. Remember, we do goals of the lesson. This is what I want you to understand by the time we are done with this lecture. The 4 phases of the menstrual cycle, understanding the 4 hormones that interact with each phase, and then the function of each phase. Thumbs up if we're good? Awesome. All right. Active recall. Write down really fast these 3 things you remember about hormones from yesterday. All right, the first one, we have the follicle stimulating hormone, or also known as FSH. This stimulates the egg in the ovaries. It helps it grow. It helps it become mature enough. Luteinizing hormone, or also known as LH. This helps cause ovulation. Remember that these 2 hormones come from the brain. Yep, we're good? All right. Next, we have estrogen. This thickens the endometrial tissue that lines the uterus. Next, we have the different forms or the different names of estrogen. Oestrogen is a traditional English term where it just starts with an O instead of an E. And then estradiol and oestradiol are the lab form names. So it's produced in the lab instead of in your body as like a natural hormone. Progesterone, this thickens the endometrial tissue even more, and it maintains the growth of the tissue. All right, quick partner discussion. What cycles were mentioned in the video? The first one is the follicular phase. This helps the growth of the endometrial tissue. So you'll start to see some growth of tissue here on the uterus wall. And this is before the egg is released. This tissue builds because of the estrogen hormone. Hormone helps tissue growth. This cycle starts on the 5th day and lasts till the 14th day. Remember that everyone's different, so each phase can be a little longer, a little shorter. This cycle happens to help prepare the fertilized egg, so egg and sperm coming together to fertilize and to implant on the uterus wall. All right, so as I said, estrogen increases because the growth increases. Growth increases because estrogen increases. Progesterone is a steady line through here because nothing's really happening with progesterone. Remember that progesterone is there to exponentially increase the tissue on the uterine wall. And then FSH increases a little bit because of the maturing follicle. Because what does it do? It helps stimulate the egg in the ovary. And as you see LH come up, you're going to see something awesome happen here called ovulation. So what is ovulation? Well, It's when the egg bursts from the ovary. And it's traveling down the fallopian tubes waiting to get fertilized by sperm. So there is a large spike in estrogen and LH, or luteinizing hormone, and a small spike of follicle stimulating hormone. This also can occur on day 10 through day 17. Normally it happens on day 14. All right, a little bit different here, but you can still kind of see the picture here. Estrogen spikes when ovulation happens. LH spikes when ovulation happens. And like I said, you see a small little increase here. Just a little one. Not as big as when it's developing the follicle. But you see how the endometrial tissue grows? That's what we're looking for. Next, we're on the luteal phase. The luteal phase helps maintaining the growth of the endometrial tissue. So after the egg is released and the corpus luteum forms. Progesterone, let's see, I told you we'd come back to that one, helps maintain the lining of the endometrial tissue and allows the fertilized egg to implant on the wall nicely. That it has something to help it grow, that fertilized egg grow. This lasts about 14 days. So you can see that from starting from the follicular phase to the luteal phase, it lasts about 28 days. All right, this is kind of seeing it as a whole. So after ovulation, that egg bursts, you see the corpus luteum, which is this lining of a shell, come to the corpus luteum. That's where you get most of your progesterone and from the ovary. And you see that huge spike right there. Helps maintain that large tissue growth. And then you see LH and FSH come down because there's no more eggs to be produced at this time. All right, the menstrual cycle. This is the shedding of the endometrial lining and egg maturation. The egg is getting old, like I am. The egg is not fertilized or did not properly plant, so this starts your menses, or ladies, known as your period. The uterine wall, again, everyone's different, approximately sheds for 4 to 7 days. And all hormones levels drop off. No more hormones are being highly produced at this time. Also means no pregnancy. All right, so basically, the luteal phase is maintaining that growth, and then you come back over here, and it sheds. So again, period. And this is the endometrial tissue, what you're going to see here, made up of 2 layers. So this first layer is the base layer. It's always there, never sheds, always there for you. But this is the layer that sheds and grows through the follicular phase and the menstruation phase. All right, we're going to put it all together here. I'd like to let you talk with your partner over this. And here's a different look. You can kind of see it's the same image, just in different phases. Again, this one, you have all of these in your lecture notes. So with your partner, we're going to skip over this really fast and come back to it. But I want to get to your lesson plan really fast for the worksheet, because I know that's what everyone's looking forward to. Your worksheet, you're going to correct the list of steps of the menstrual cycle. First one is LH and FSH are released into the bloodstream from the brain. And the next one is you're going to label this lovely graph with all the words I taught you today. All right, any questions? All right, thank you for having me so much.